All right, back on another third and 30, refreshed after a nice week off. And got a lot to talk about today. We got two divisions. Let's see, we got the NFC West to close out, and then we got the NFC North. Next week, by the way, we'll be back at y'all with what was it, the AFC North that we got to finish up, and then we're gonna have the season predictions and the MVP, Coach of the Year, et cetera, et cetera. But first, Steven, what's going on in Oregon?
Oh man, it's technically the best time of year right now. It's just like in the 80s. This is the heat wave right now, so it's just kind of like enjoying as much of the sunny weather before it's rainy for the next like 6, 7 months. Yeah,
The heat wave is 80 degrees.
yeah, for right now. Yeah.
Oh, it must be nice.
How about you, Cal? How's going out there?
It's hot as fuck. Oh my God.
Rainy
It's
as fuck here. We
it's
have like
like,
some post hurricane shit. We have like flooding going on. So it's been a
are you
rough one
guys
out
are you
here.
guys in danger for Hurricane Aaron? I just saw that pop up. I don't know
Hurricane
where it's
Aaron.
supposed to
Yeah,
go.
exactly. We got a lot of flooding and shit. We didn't get the actual like hurricane, just like the remnants of it. Just a lot of flooding, especially down the shore and coastal places.
Yeah,
All
these
right. So
hurricanes.
let's hop into it, guys. Let's hop into the NFC West. So we'll go with the Niners. Let's start with the Niners. So the Niners obviously did not. They had 2 years ago. They got to the Super Bowl, lost to Mahomes again. I can only imagine. I think the only people that hate Mahomes more than Calvin are Niners fans. So I definitely feel their pain.
I think the Bills
Uh,
fans might hate me or hate them a little bit more too.
I know, but you're up there too, so it's close between the three.
I'm top three for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Bills fans, Niners fans, you. So yeah, you can duke it
Yeah,
out. Have a nice triple threat match at WrestleMania or something. So I would
I'd
say,
put
yeah.
on a hell of a
So
show.
that was a rough year last year. McCaffrey got hurt. Ayuk wasn't that guy. He after that contract that he got. Debo's now gone. Uh, so now it's going to be a lot on Brock Purdy. He got the contract, so let's see if he could show out. Um, it's worth noting that the Niners this year have the easiest schedule in the NFL and the easiest schedule preseason, just looking at last year's records, since the Falcons in 2015. So you got to keep that in mind. They have a real, at least on paper, the easiest schedule you can imagine. Um, I believe that like what they have 6 wins last year. I believe, and also too they have Robert Saleh back on as a defensive coordinator, which is key. I think they're definitely due for a bounce back. Now, whether that gets them to double digit wins, I think they're probably going to get 10 wins. I do. I think they're going to be around that 10-7, 11 and 6 mark just because of that weak schedule, man. It just there's not much there. Now, I question what they're going to do on offense, especially with the wide receivers. What Juwan Jennings is their main wide receiver now. Um, they still got George Kittle, obviously a tight end, but I don't know. They're in a weird spot, and it seems like now they're going to have to transition back to the focus being on Purdy because the knock on the Niners is and Purdy has always been that the system has made Purdy, but it's going to have to start reverting to Purdy kind of making the system. And McCaffrey's going to have to be close to what he was 2 years ago and before that. He's what 29 now. That's not good. So I think it's going to really come down to Brock Purdy. I think it's going to come down to Purdy and see if he can step up. And I think he's better than what some people say. I think he's worse than what others say. Remember that MVP talk 2 years ago? I think that was a little overblown, but I think he's still a solid quarterback. I think he's good enough. Like I said, with that weak schedule, I think they're going to end up with 10 or 11 wins. What do you say, Steven? I thought you told me a couple weeks ago that you had a strong take on the Niners here.
Well, I just think that the Niners are. Well, wait. I want to give you like props, and we're kind of like pointing out kind of like the weaker schedule, the fact that they do have Robert Saleh back, which is a really big boost because I think like right now I think that division's pretty I think it's pretty open for the taking, especially with the Rams like in their Matt Stafford situation. Like, hey, if he plays, is he even 100%? And then if he doesn't play, then you have Jimmy Garoppolo. I think the Niners are almost by default team right now, but I think this is where I do think Brock Purdy, he could bounce back and kind of like have that kind of like in the dare I say MVP. It's I don't want to put that's a pretty high expectation to put on someone, but I do think I could see him with like about like 30 touchdowns, 35 touchdowns, and maybe single digit interceptions, and that's pretty
You can see
impressive.
it with those wide receivers. You can see
Yeah.
35 touchdowns.
Well, I think Christian McCaffrey's going to be probably he's going to be the biggest emphasis weapon on offense that they're going to have to utilize. I think Christian McCaffrey's going to kind of like just need to stay healthy. You kind of have to bubble wrap him and just kind of like utilize him kind of like sparingly, but it's
Because
kind of like,
me,
mhm. Wait, what?
I was just gonna say Christian McCaffrey and me got the same injury, and he had it in both ankles, and I could barely walk. So, and I'm kind of concerned about that. I know, um, anytime you're flying to Switzerland or wherever the fuck he was flying to go meet with a specialist, red flags should be ringing off. So I'm interested to see if he bounces back like that this year. I hope he does though.
Well, I think still, and yeah, I just double checked. He's still under 30. I still expect him to. And that's why it's kind of like post
Yeah, but
30
what is he,
any running
29?
back. Yeah, but he still has a whole year. This is the whole season for him to kind of like have one more extremely dominant year as a primary weapon on offense. And then this is what Brock Purdy kind of needs. Yes, he is a system. He plays well within the system. I don't want to say like a system quarterback because I do think the Shanahans are in general, they know how to
That
just work with quarterbacks. I think they really do know how to like help elevate a quarterback to another level. And I think that's kind of like what you would want out of Brock Purdy, somebody who's not going to turn the ball over and he's going to make the scheduled play that's supposed to be made. So it's like you aren't going to
the
yeah.
the the term system quarterback always pisses me off because all quarterbacks are system quarterbacks. You put in there's superlatives that you can throw around for Patrick Mahomes because they do the extraordinary stuff and the off-platform stuff,
I
but
don't
they're still operating in a system. They can just elevate it a little bit more. But Peyton Manning was a system
I thought
quarterback.
about that.
Tom Brady
We
was a
talked
system
about that.
quarterback.
Okay, is Cam Newton a system quarterback?
No, I don't think so. Yes, in a particular way where like that you have to build. Actually, it's hard to say because Cam didn't really have great weapons around him, but he relied heavily on his athleticism
I think he was
to
the
get him,
system. Yeah.
And, but I think that Lamar is more like Lamar's the year that they got Henry and they were running, running sweeps with them and playing to all his strengths. It's sometimes they use the term system quarterback as a knock, like you're pegged down because you're not as a you can't raise the tide, but when you're talking about people that they consider not really of all time, but even still, Kurt Warner, system quarterback. Peyton Manning, system
Ben
quarterback. Tom Brady,
Roethlisberger.
they elevate the system,
But
and the thing is that they but Ben is kind of not a system
I
quarterback because
know.
he does so many things off schedule. Yeah, so it makes it, but it's always to denote or to take somebody down when they're saying, "Hey, he's a system quarterback." But it's when you perfect the system, you can win a Super Bowl. Like Jalen was in the system last year, and all the rhetoric that you see all year after he won Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP is that, oh, can he do it? Who cares if he can do it again? He's already done it. He's
Yeah.
already proved that he can win. He can win within that system. And it's always a stupid argument to me when they say, "Oh, you need all of these great players around you to win." Since when has it been a bad thing to want to surround your team with the best players? That argument is very stupid to me. Just because you're upset that they draft well and they make good decisions
Yeah.
on their team and they have good roster construction, you're going to discredit Jalen Hurts or somebody because they have all the talent around them. It's stupid. So
I hear what you're saying, but just in terms of like Purdy, I think he's almost a plug and play type of person for Shanahan. I don't know if Brock Purdy would be this. If I had to put Brock Purdy
Good
on,
outside of there.
yeah, say if I had to put him in Trevor Lawrence's shoes and Trevor Lawrence in San Francisco, I think Trevor Lawrence probably would adapt and probably thrive in San Francisco. I don't think
But
Brock
just
Purdy would
I
thrive
don't I
with those weapons. Well,
but
that
I don't
system
think
there.
that's a fair argument because you can't be upset about where he got drafted because we can go back and have a million what ifs like people go back and they're like, what if Barry Sanders ran behind Dallas's offensive line? He would have ran for 3,000 yards. And what if, this X player got drafted here? It's where they got drafted, and that's part of the game is coaching. Like they coach those players up. But the player still has to go in there and perform. And I know, like Shanahan, he had Jimmy Garoppolo, and he got them to the Super Bowl with him. Their defense, I think that their defense carried them the majority of the way there because their defense was so elite that year. Um, but yeah, system court like Brock Purdy came in and he played his role and he played his role fantastic and it got him to the Super Bowl, to overtime of a Super Bowl, which they were they were in contention to win. Um, so the it's just the terminology of it pisses me off because like I said it builds a narrative that this player wouldn't be successful if he went to XYZ. But if Tom Brady went to the Cleveland Browns instead of the New England Patriots and had Bill Belichick, how would that have turned out? You think you can assume that the players would elevate above and rise the talent around them, but you don't know that for sure. But they ended up in the perfect system for them, and I think that goes for all players.
Yeah, I hear that. I guess in some senses, I just think for just this Niners team, it's kind of like, and their Brock Purdy does need to elevate. He needs to stay healthy. I think their backup's Mac Jones. Like, I think they're in trouble if Brock Purdy's out because I don't think Mac Jones is fit for any system. I don't care what anybody says anymore. Um, but like, how many wins do you think the Niners get
Pro
though?
Bowl quarterback Mac Jones.
Uh,
Me, I hate it's weird going off of that when people say that they have the easy schedule because you don't know which teams are gonna be surprise teams and can pop out and beat you. Um, I'd probably have them around 9 or 10. I'm really concerned about the receiving core, and then they lost a lot of talent on defense. Even though Greenlaw was hurt last year and Hufanga was hurt last year, um, San Francisco always really just puts out a good defense no matter what. And with Fred Warner back there, I think that they're gonna be a competent defense for sure. Um, but for me personally, Juwan Jennings might be McCaffrey and George Kittle are definitely the 1 and 2, and then Juwan Jennings being your number one receiver is kind of a concern. Parasol, I'm kind of concerned about that. I think he could end up being a good player, but it's just the receiving core is giving me a little trepidation. Um, but I could probably see him maybe if all things go well, 9 or 10 wins. Um, but I could also see them having a down season too, and everybody's going to dunk on Purdy for that. But if I had to call it right now, I'll say maybe they win. I'll say they win 9 games.
I think then we're all like in the similar range then. I just think the schedule is gonna I think if they had like a more of a neutral schedule, and to your point, I know what you're saying that you can't always go off preseason schedule. There are teams that are better than expected, or you catch a team at the wrong time. But I just think there's just enough wins. And again, I believe in Kyle Shanahan enough. I think he's just gonna get them to around that 9-10 win mark. Um,
Yeah, I can agree with that.
yeah. But I don't see them going in like I don't see them as like a true like Super Bowl
A deep
contender or
playoff
anything
run.
like that.
Yeah, me
Nah,
neither.
I don't. I mean, unless Purdy really, really steps it up and really does get to be like a true like
And
MVP type of
the
quarterback.
the, the thing that's crazy is the thing that's crazy is that I I've never seen uh like outside of Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I think that Purdy will probably end up being better than Ryan Fitzpatrick, but just to be the last pick in the draft and to outperform, so many people in your class like this, is incredible, and I don't want it to get like it gets lost because now we're having the discussions of if he's a top 10 quarterback or top 15 quarterback, but getting that type of production and getting that kind of player at the end of the draft, uh, I think that it gets lost sometimes with how good he is for where he was drafted, and I don't think that we should fall short of that because it's incredible. And if he would have won Super Bowl MVP, that would have been, or if he would have won that Super Bowl, that would have been one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Yeah. I don't think
Would have
we
been
should
Kurt
ever say
Warner-esque.
I don't think we should ever put Brock Purdy in the same sentence as Ryan Fitzpatrick, Fitzmagic at all.
Uh,
No, I can't do that. I can't do that. It's
Bro, Fitzpatrick never went to the Super Bowl.
honestly it dare I say kind of like Tony
Fitzmagic is
Romo.
dope though. I love Fitzmagic.
Dare I say Tony Romo a little bit? Is that a little bit
Uh,
closer just in terms of kind of like I think Tony
I
Romo
think that
fell
I
into
think
the
that
right system too.
yeah, I think that, but Tony Romo was kind of an off like I don't know if it's a hot take or not, but like Tony Romo is like a very poor man's. I'm trying to see who I can compare him to
I know
because
Niners
I don't want
fans
to
are
say
so pissed that we're
I
comparing
don't I
Purdy
don't
to Romo.
I don't want to say like a very he like a very very I don't know if I want to say that, but like a very very a destitute man's Aaron Rodgers, where like he did a lot of stuff off platform. He did he moved around well in the pocket. He was mobile for his time. Like he could get out of the pocket and run. I still think about that. That where he fumbled the snap and went over his head, and he ended up getting like a first. It was yeah, a first down, and the ball went way behind him. Um, but I think that Purdy with another couple solid seasons can end up. I think that he might end up having a better career than Romo because just off the fact that he got to the Super Bowl already. But
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think so.
we'll see. I'll be interested to see. But he's a very easy person to root for though, just off of his story.
So moving on to the Niners' primary rivals for many years in the NFC West, the Seahawks. A lot of changes there. New quarterback. Still something I don't understand why they did what they did, but they got Sammy Darnold now. They got Cooper Cup. No more JSN. No more DK Metcalf. Still got a good cornerback. Still got good defensive line. I
They still
just
have
don't.
Jason.
Do they still have JSN? I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Jackson
They
Smith
got
is with them.
Lockett. They lost Lockett. They lost Lockett. That's
Oh
what I meant to
yeah,
say.
yeah, Lockett Smith.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, they still have JSN. They still have Cooper Cup. I think those two are going to be killers in the slot, man. That's like they're just going to do a lot of like not. They're going to do everything's going to be short. I feel like with them. I don't know how that's going to work. I think they're just going to have to rely on their defense because I mean I think Sam Darnold is. I think he's established himself now as like you said Ryan Fitzpatrick, Steven. I think that's what kind of could be like his career. Something like that.
That's
He'll have a
sad.
good year every once in a while, but he'll mostly be a backup. And then somebody else will get hurt, and he'll have a nice little run, and then he'll shit the bed in the playoff. Like that's kind of how I see his career playing out.
That's sad though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's more for Sammy because he was supposed to be like a franchise guy. So
Yeah. Yeah. And then he saw
yeah,
Ghost and he hasn't been the
and that was
same.
it.
Yeah.
That was it. Nothing was the same. So I don't see this team as being that good. I
we
forget
don't
they did.
quote Drake albums
They,
on this podcast.
say it again.
I said we don't quote Drake albums on this podcast.
The,
Good catch. Good catch.
the,
Yeah.
I'm
I
actually
can't even
impressed.
listen to that guy no more. Not that I ever liked him much to begin with, but every time one of his songs plays, I'm like, change it, change it. I can't even listen to
Have
it.
you
Even
guys
the
have you
songs I
guys
used to
seen the
fuck, even the
lawsuit
songs I used
that
to fuck with. I used to fuck with that album, that whole album.
I
But
still think that's a classic album, by the way.
mm,
Yeah. I do.
okay, but
I can't listen to anything from that anymore.
have you guys seen the lawsuits that he's doing right now?
Please save that for toast and roast.
Man, that
Yeah,
hmm.
that's some bullshit.
I have a roast.
I have a roast
I'm
too,
sure
but I can't. It's actually about an artist, but I don't want to go there. There's reasons I don't want to go there. It's not Drake though, but maybe I'll tell you after the pod. It's just bullshit. How well I don't want to say it. So anyway, I don't know how we got there from Seahawks, but yeah, I think the Seahawks are going to
Don't
be
be
pretty
scared.
mid. I mean, they won 10 games last year. I don't know how. I forget because I don't know. They seem like an 8-win team. I don't know. Yeah, I'll probably pick like that again. I think they're going to be like 8 wins, 8 and 9, something like that. I don't see them as any good. Well, Calvin, what do you think about them?
Um, they I have no idea. I have no way to call it because it just it's all gonna come down to Sam Darnold. It feels like I can't really name anybody that's on that defense. I think Leonard Williams is there.
Witherspoon.
A decent. Yeah, no, well, Witherspoon's good, and then they have Woolen, but I think he kind of fell off a cliff. And then I think if Kenneth Walker can stay healthy, I think he might be due for a breakout season. And Charbonnet has looked really good this preseason too, so that 1-2 punch, that
Been
gives him
waiting for
a good
Charbonnet
bit of
now a
rushing
couple
attack.
years to really break out, you know?
Yeah, and I think that he looks really good. I think this is either his second or third year, but he looks really good. And Kenneth Walker would have to stay healthy. I'm kind of concerned about the receivers again, just because Cooper Cup, obviously the Rams cut ties with him because he was getting a little bit long in the tooth. I think he can still be a good receiver. Um, JSN I think he's a great player. Um, I forget who they have at tight end. It's mostly going to come down to that offensive line and that running game
They
that
have a
that kind of
good
carries them and they'll carry
Torrey Horton, who he was a pretty good receiver at
the
Colorado
yeah the
State.
one from yeah I've seen him. They said that he's flashing in the preseason, so that's another good addition. But how much can you rely on a rookie wide receiver from Colorado State is the question that you got to ask. And then Sam Darnold's going to be one throwing the ball. So um, yeah, I think that the hey, I don't want to. I don't think that this is going to happen, but eventually they're going to come to a crossroads too. I forget how much they paid Sam Darnold. I think they gave him like a 3-year deal. I believe so. But me, if I'm a Seahawks fan, I kind of want Jalen Milroe back there, just like I wanted another fucking fast black quarterback behind center. Um, just to see what you have, throw him out there. Because I feel like Sam Darnold is a known commodity at this time in his career. Uh, but I think they'll probably end up, you seven games. I could see them winning 6 or 7 games. I wouldn't push it too much further past that. Even in the dream scenario, I think maybe they won 9. I think they're a very middle of the pack team, and
It,
I think that they would have been the same had they kept Gino too.
Right. So I'm glad you brought that up. So I don't get it. Like, uh, to me, it's the same quarterback, maybe a little bit younger. I mean, I think Gino's maybe a tad better than Sam, but uh, if not that, why not just blow it up? You know what I mean? Just blow it all up and just tank. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Just it makes
I
no
think
sense to
some of
me.
the so I think some of those people are concerned. Like I think that some of those sometimes they're concerned that the fan base is going to turn on them. And in the Seahawks case, like they got McDaniel, and I'm sure he doesn't want to be end up on the hot seat because if he wins 5 games this year, the following year they're going to be calling for his job, and they'll be either they'll have seen that Milroe isn't the guy and Darnold is not the guy, so they'll have to draft somebody. Um, but I think that they want to give some like a little bit of stability at the quarterback position. So you can go into the season and say, hey, don't you can have expectations, but don't have your expectations super high because it's it's not Ryan Fitzpatrick, but Sam Darnold. It's like
Modern day Ryan Fitzpatrick.
yeah, when certain teams like they'll be like, all right, we don't want to suck, but we know we're not going to be too good. They'll fucking bring in Teddy Bridgewater or something. And I don't know how Teddy Bridgewater ends up winning 4 or 5, like 7 or 8 games, but he
Yeah.
does for whatever reason. He just he it's that kind of quarterback to me. So we'll see.
yeah,
But I got him at maybe 6 or 7.
yeah. I think. Well, I think I have him a little bit below that, just because I think that I think the loss of Gino is really a loss of a leadership presence in the locker room too, because he really came in and he was a leader after Russ, and kind of like the team adopted him, and kind of like once you really do have a quarterback that's kind of like playing. I don't want to knock Gino. I think Gino did a great job, but he played above his expectations when he was in Seattle, if that's fair to say. Like, I don't think anybody
Oh, it's more
expected
than
him.
fair to say. Yeah.
Okay, because he was coming in after Russ. Russ was looking like he was having a Hall of Fame career at that point. It's kind of like, it was kind of like that almost could have been like, a, hey, let's tank it with Gino and then just see who we get like after. But he actually showed he could be a great quarterback and a leader for the locker room. I don't know.
And he's going to ball out for the Raiders, as I said 3 weeks ago. But yeah, we wouldn't have to get into that now.
I won't hold my breath on that. What the Seahawks probably should do is probably hope that Anthony Richardson becomes available for a trade, because at this point you need to start
Do
playing
we
for
have to
some
talk about
type
this
of
now?
upside. You you need to start
But
playing
well,
for
that doesn't
upside.
make it
You
that
need to
doesn't
play
make any
for
sense though
upside.
because they have Jalen Milrow.
I mean, but well, I think Anthony Richardson probably
I
has a
think
higher
Anthony Richardson
ceiling.
I
Yeah,
agree with that.
yeah,
But you have Milrow, and I think they took him in the second round, or second or third.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Well, I just think at this point, trying to just get young
We should
quarterbacks
probably
and play
talk
for
about
upside.
that maybe towards the end here. We'll talk about that
I
Colts
we
think
probably
decision
I
there.
shouldn't
think
talk
we
about
have
it at
to.
all.
I think we
We
should.
can't look over it because it's. I think that's
All right.
gonna shake up the entire draft most likely, especially if Daniel Jones starts the majority. Mike, you should be the happiest person here about that decision, but that's a whole nother that's a whole nother thing right there. But
Maybe I'll grow my hair out. Maybe I'll let it go all the way to the ground.
no haircut until you stop
Nope.
starting.
Exactly.
I'm gonna hang up. I'm actually. You know what? Fuck it. Let's talk about it now. I'm actually kind of disgusted.
Okay, well,
Uh,
I'll
Go
just
for
end
it.
it
Go for
with
it. You know what?
the
Fuck
Seahawks
the NFC
are
West.
they're
Go.
going to be last
Let's go
place.
AFC South. Let's go Colts. What do you got to say?
it's just it's.
Danny Dimes.
I'm not even. I when I saw the news come across my feed, I was like, "What the fuck?" Like it makes literally no sense because we know the we know what Daniel Jones is. Everybody knows what Daniel Jones is. And you have AR who you drafted, it's kind of a blessing in disguise because I'm pretty sure Daniel Jones is going to be bad enough for everybody to be gone. And I kind of just want to start over. We got new ownership, unfortunately, because Jim Irsay passed away. But the decision making of these fucking people is like, it blows my mind. Chris Ballard, him and all of his fucking trading back and let's trade back from out of the first round to get Rocky Sin and just a whole bunch of fucking unfathomable decisions. And then he finally takes the plunge and takes an athletic quarterback fourth overall, and you know that he's a project, and then you throw the project out there first of all when you could have went out and signed a better quarterback and let him sit on the bench. You throw him out there, he's not good, which is to be expected because you knew he only had a certain amount of starts at Florida. Um, and then you bench him, you mess with his confidence over and over again, and then you bring in Daniel Jones. I would rather them fucking sign Andy Dalton than Daniel Jones because I think that he's more confident
What?
than Daniel Jones. Yes, but that's neither here nor there. It's like the team. I don't think we're outside of the quarterback position. The Colts are a playoff team, but they're like, oh, AR Anthony Richardson is too inconsistent for the team to lead the team right now. That was the report that came out. It's like he's inconsistent. What other way do you gain consistency than playing games and getting reps in the game? Everybody's upset about he missed the blindside blitz and all of this shit. I didn't really fucking care because that's not the first time I've seen somebody get rocked off a blindside before. Veteran quarterbacks, I've seen Peyton get hit like that. I've seen Tom Brady get hit like that. So that's not a big thing to me. But they let the media, run with these narratives, and he doesn't care about football and all of this. And it's just we as Colts fans, we're starting to get into the dark. I wouldn't say Cleveland Browns realm of of
Oh,
QB of hell, but it's getting dark outside. Like
Philip
it's been
Rivers
some
was
very
not.
dark days.
Philip Rivers was good for you guys
Yeah,
until that playoff game.
yeah,
It's
he
like
was. He was. It was cool to have Philip Rivers, and I love Philip Rivers. Philip Rivers is one of
he's
my
a
favorite
cool,
players.
yeah, he's a cool quarterback, cool person.
One of
Yeah.
yeah, one of my favorite players ever. But I'm tired of the merry-go-round, and we had a chance to get off. Even if the merry-go-round was going to stop somewhere that we weren't happy with, I want to see Anthony Richardson play. I don't want to see mediocre Daniel Jones go out there and go 7 for 17 and 2 interceptions and 1 touchdown. I don't want to see him go out and throw nine for 15, 150 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. That's boring football. If we're gonna go out and if we drafted this person, dance. The term is dance with the one you came with. We're not doing that consistently, and a lot of it, I blame Ballard a lot for it. I don't. I thought that Steichen came in with an idea of making Richardson his personal version that he still has the talent to do it, and they just gave up on him again. There's no way that you should have Daniel Jones when you have Anthony Richardson on your start. He should not be starting week one. So it's an indictment on the team because they clearly had no plan when they draft. They said that they had a plan for him, and they have not. And Ballard has not had a plan for the last 8 or 9 years, and I'm tired of this shit. So I'll be happy when he's gone. I've given him chance after chance after chance to be like, you know what, he's going to turn it around this year. And that the Colts, the whole Colts community has the believe in Ballard and trust Ballard. I don't trust that motherfucker. I don't trust that motherfucker at all. Um, so I'm ready. I'm ready to get off the merry-go-round with the coaching staff. And obviously, Anthony Richardson has his own faults, and he hasn't performed up to par so far. But there's a ton of potential there for me. Um, and I'm kind of tired of them giving up. Andrew Luck set us back so far, and it's not his fault. It's not his fault. The constant regimes. Grigson let him down, and now Ballard is letting Richardson down, and it's just like the only silver lining that I have is that Art said that his grandpa was wrong and that he might actually enter the draft. And if Daniel Jones, it sounds bad, but I'm gonna need Daniel to go in there and get double Achilles tendonitis too. Let AR get double Achilles tendonitis too. Just everybody sit on the bench. Um,
He's gonna
let's
go in
let
there and get you
DeForest Buckner
double
play.
digit wins and get himself another contract, just like the Giants did.
Yeah. I pray to God that doesn't happen. Just let DeForest Buckner go back there and chuck it around for a couple of games, and let's get Arch. I saw somebody saying that they're kind of concerned that Arch Manning going to the Colts will be bad because he has to live up to his uncle's legacy. I do not see it that way. I think that it would be an incredible story. You don't really have to live up to your uncle's legacy because as much as I love Peyton, he only won one Super Bowl there. So not saying that that sounded crazy. That
It's
came
pretty
out my mouth,
harsh, bro.
but
That's your
Arch can
guy.
surpass
That's
Arch
yeah,
something
can
I
yeah. I'm just,
usually
I'm
bring
surpass
just,
up, not
Peyton.
I'm
you.
just, but I'm just saying, like that shouldn't be a deterrent. He should want to go in there and be able to do that. And if he wasn't able to go in there and step into that's the team that I would trust. It's not the same regime, obviously, but I know Peyton and Archie are probably close with that staff and the whole ownership staff. Even though Peyton's time in Indy didn't end exactly how he wanted it to because of the injury, I'm sure that he would trust them to do right by his nephew, and I think that he would have full faith in them if that he got drafted there. And that would be one of the dopest stories in NFL history if that could come around full circle and he goes in there and he performs up to his ability. I don't know if Archie's going to be the greatest quarterback of all time, but just off the track record of their family, I'm betting on them. I'm betting on him being good, and I would want him to end up in Indy.
But the bigger question is, what do you think I should do with this long hair? Should I do like a mullet? Like what do you think I should do with it? I've
Just go
never
fuck
grown my hair
yourself.
out that long.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Huh?
Nobody
No?
cares what you do with your hair.
Maybe I'll donate
Do
it.
whatever
I'll
you
be a good
want.
guy. I'll
You could
donate
do
it.
cornrows, something like
Cornrows.
that. Just
I kind of
yeah.
hope I'm wrong
Yeah,
on the
that's
bet.
not the move. Cornrow is not the move.
Um, but no,
All right,
Get
so
I
some,
think
get some,
Jonathan
get some fucking
Taylor
locks.
is going to be the loser of that Daniel
locks. You said
Jones.
locks.
Uh,
Yeah, get his locks.
oh my gosh, Jonathan Taylor's got to be pissed though. That would just be my take because it's kind of like they're going to run him into the ground. They have no choice but to run him into the ground
Well, he
now.
got paid.
I I just think he could have had a better career. The idea of him with Richardson being able to run together, just run that like explosive offense, two playmakers back there. Oh man, that's I get the vision for what they were trying to do for Richardson. I think they're giving up on it too soon because I do
Way
think
too
that
soon.
there's
He's
still
younger.
potential there.
He's younger than they. I did not know, but he's younger than Caleb Williams, Bo
Mhm.
Nix, Jaden Daniels, uh, all of these starting quarterbacks. Like he's younger than all of them, and he you knew that it was going to take time for him to develop and to become something special. Okay, he didn't have the Josh Allen trajectory, but I've seen him make special throws. I've seen him the drive against New England. It might not have been as impressive, but he still led a game-winning drive, and that gave me a little bit of hope.
Mhm.
So to give up on him immediately is mind-boggling, and I don't know whose call it is. It can't be. I don't think that it could be Ballard's. It's probably Steichen because he's already on the hot seat. But at that point, if you're on the hot, this is the God honest truth. If you're on the hot seat with Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones is not going to save you. Daniel Jones is not going to come in here and save you. Um, fuck,
I
you
don't
might have
know.
been
We
better
got
off going
Brian.
to
What,
James
hold
Winston.
on though. Hold on though. Brian Dable's still coaching because of what Daniel Jones did in 2022.
Oh my god.
I got you there. I got you there. If Daniel Jones shit the bed, there's a chance Brian Dable's fired.
I think that it's just about the people that they're hiring. These supposedly, quarterback whisperers, and they're able to, you know, mold these people out of play and make them do whatever they want to do. And Dayball did a great job with Josh Allen, and that's probably still why he had a job because they felt like he was dealt a bad hand. Ballard, even if Ballard goes and Steichen stays, I would be more happy with that just because Ballard has been there for 8 years and he's overpromised and he's underdelivered every time that for the entirety of that the time that we've been there. They don't draft well. Um, the best thing that they've probably done these last couple of years is trade for DeForest Buckner because he kind of just fell into your lap. But Jonathan Taylor, great player. Quentin Nelson, great player. But they can't, and now you were talking about somebody getting the shit into the stick. If I'm Josh Downs, if I'm Alex Pierce, if I'm Tyler Warren, maybe not so much because he's going to be there for a while. But if I'm those receivers, I'm pissed because you know how Daniel Jones fucking plays. I don't need to tell you. You guys have eyes, so it's not gonna be an exciting brand of football. I was gonna go to the Colts Rams game when they came out here. I'm not going to watch Daniel Jones play. I'm not about to pay money to watch that shit. Like because the team is already boring outside of that. You know what I mean?
Shit, I don't even
Like,
watch when my team had Daniel Jones as quarterback. I don't even watch the games. I don't got time for that.
yeah. So like there's no we don't have really splashy players. And the splashiest player, we have Jonathan Taylor, who's a splashy player. I think Tyler Warren would have been a splashy player if they fucking put Daniel Jones in there. But now they're just going to stuff the box um, and be like, Daniel Jones beat us. And then the defense is just, they're okay. Zaire Franklin misses tackles all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Kenny Moore is a very underrated defensive back. I love him as a slot corner, but like the defense, there's nothing of note. Like we're the most when you say mid, yeah, like they're gonna be a mid. We're gonna be the middest team, and that is the worst place to be in the NFL because there's no hope. Like you're either suck and you have high draft picks to look forward to, or you're great and you're thinking about making the playoffs. The fucking 8 and 8 teams, there's nothing to look forward to here.
You
So
don't want to. You don't want to. You don't want to. Here's the new tagline that I heard. I forgot who I heard mention this. You don't want to bust for Nuss next year.
yeah, no, that's crazy. I I think that Garrett Nussmeier is probably going to end up being a great player. I don't know. I don't care. I'm all in on Art. That's all my mind cares about. I'm not even concerned if he's the best quarterback. It sounds bad, but I just because of my affinity for Peyton and my Colts team, I would love for their family to just continue on the legacy in Indianapolis. So that's who I'm locked in on. I think Nussmeier is going to be an excellent player. There's a lot of quarterbacks that are going to
That South Carolina
supposedly come
quarterback they're
out
talking
next
up
year
too.
and be good. I think I do like Lenore goggles, but there's a lot of quarterbacks that are gonna and Cade Slevnick. Um, there's a lot of them, but me personally, I'm just locked in on Arch because of the history of his family and what they meant to me. So I just want to continue that legacy. But it depends on if he comes out too. Like he might not be, he might not have the greatest year. He might not be the first pick in the draft. So
Yeah.
That's just me rooting for those expectations of him living up to them.
Well, we gotta see. As long as I know my hair is safe, I'm good with the Colts. They can win 10. I'm happy with 10. Just don't get 11. So from the team that the Hall of Famer Marvin Harrison used to play for to his son Marv Jr. Let's go to the Cards. What do you guys think of the Cards? I don't really think too much of them. I just don't think. I think Kyler. What was it? 2021, where I think it was 2020 or 2021. He had that really good season, and he threw that ridiculous Carson Wentz like
Hail
pass
Mary.
against the Rams. Was it against the in the end zone or some shit? You
Oh
remember
yeah, I
that?
know what you're talking about. Yeah,
And he was
I
he
thought you were talking
was
about the Hail Mary against Buffalo, but you're
oh
talking
well
about
yeah, that
the
too.
interception.
I don't know. He's just not. I don't know. I think Marv. I think I actually spoke on this pod about what I think about Marvin Harrison Jr.'s rookie year. I thought it was underwhelming considering the hype on this guy. Doesn't mean I don't think he can't be great. Doesn't mean he still can't be an all timer. But I just think for the hype that he got, that was a disappointment. I think we all thought better. What do you have? 800 receiving yards. I think we all thought he was going to be much better. Now he be better this year? Yeah, of course he could. I wouldn't put it past him. But um, they still have James Conner, the ageless wonder back there. I feel like he gets better with time. At running back. Otherwise, this team, I don't know. It's just not a very interesting team to me. I mean, they did sign Trey McBride. That was a good contract, good contract extension. One of the best tight ends in the league. I feel like he doesn't get the props he deserves for some reason. I don't know. Maybe just because he plays in Arizona and really nobody gives a shit. But um, I don't know. This just team is just very boring and underwhelming to me. I don't know. 7 wins. I don't see much out of these guys. What do you think, Steven? What do you think the projection for them is?
Uh, I think we know who Kyler Murray is now, and gosh, when Black Ops 7 comes
Call of
out
Duty
this
player.
year,
That's what he
yeah.
is.
So it's kind of like they need to lock up his Xbox, his PlayStation, keep everything away from him
What do you
because
think
it's
he is?
kind
Is he an
of
Xbox guy or is he a PlayStation
uh,
guy?
he strikes me as honestly, he strikes me as an Xbox guy. I
Me
don't know
too.
why.
Me too.
Yeah. That's just I could be totally wrong. You know
I'm,
what?
I'm gonna look that up while you talk.
Okay, but I think no, I think we know who Kyler Murray is at this point. Like he's not going to be like an electric quarterback that's gonna kind of like I don't think he's the type of quarterback who's gonna just take you to back deep playoff runs and be that type of like game changer in that regard. I think he's gonna make some great highlight reel plays. I hope he develops a good chemistry with um Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that's what this year would really be on. Just kind of like seeing them develop that good chemistry and seeing kind of like Marvin Harrison Jr. take that jump to where it's like he goes into that like elite wide receiver category, which I think he's capable of. I think he's somebody where it's not out of the realm of possibilities to be like, yeah, this is a guy I could see him leading the league in receptions one year soon. It's like, honestly, just with the skill set, everything like that. Marvin Harrison Jr., he's legit. I know that like Neighbors balled out last year. I know that Thomas and Jacksonville did great, but we need to kind of like understand that like Kyler, we probably seen just like this is what we're gonna get from him, and he's not gonna carry a team probably past 7, 8 wins. And kind of like what you guys were saying about Seattle, I kind of think that about Arizona. So
What do you think, Cal?
I I think I'm kind of on the fence because I think that Arizona's offense has a chance, to be pretty good. Um, I think a lot of people have lost faith in Kyler. Don't mind me, I'm about to walk to my mailbox, but um, I think that a lot of people have lost faith in Kyler. But I think that their offense, you know, can be pretty explosive. I like Trey McBride, James Conner. While he is an ageless wonder, I kind of have concerns there. Their defense, I think their defense is going to be a mess this year. Um, but I think that they have the potential on offense to be pretty good. I know College dealt with a couple of injuries over the last couple of years, but I still think like he's quick enough to get outside the pocket, make moves with his with his legs. And then I just have all the faith in the world in Marvin Harrison Jr. Either way, just because of his genetics. You know, if your dad is Marvin Harrison Jr., and you're six, I forget if he's 6'3" or 6'4", and from all the offseason pictures that I've seen, he looks jacked. So Marvin Harrison in a 6'3",
They had the
6'2"
zoom a little
body.
bit different from last year's photo to this year's. I don't know about.
I'm
I think it's
still,
pretty
I'm still,
similar.
I'm still betting on him to be one of the. I wouldn't be surprised if he finished this season as a top 10 receiver for sure. And then Trey McBride is one of the best 3 or 4 tight ends in the league for sure. So I think they're the team in the division with the most range from their win totals. Like I can see them being terrible, and I can see them making the playoffs. It just depends if Kyler hits a hot streak of consistency or if he shifts the bet again.
By the way, just FYI, Kyler Murray has PlayStation, Xbox, and PC games as well. So he's got the
take
whole
away the
triple play
computer
going on.
too. Oh
Just
man.
wait till
Yep,
just wait till
yep.
Christmas. We're gonna be fun.
But when
You think he
GTA
has
6
Call of
comes
Duty on
out,
all of
he may
them?
retire.
Yeah, it says. Let's see. He primarily uses the PC and uses an Xbox controller or a PlayStation controller for the PC gaming. He started on PlayStation, switched to Xbox, and now uses the PC. So
I
there
do
we
want
go.
to
The more you
say
know.
also, I think Jonathan Gannon, I think it's Gannon. I think
You're right.
he's going to be the guy who's kind of holding back the offense from developing. So if we don't see kind of like growth for Marvin Harrison Jr., we don't see growth for Kyler. That's kind of where I'm kind of like leaning towards. It's more, hey, they probably went with the wrong head coach to kind of like shift and make this a really dynamic offense moving forward. That's all.
And then we got the last NFC West team, the Rams. They nearly beat the Eagles last year in the playoffs. Stafford's back, but we know he's got a lot of injury concerns with that. Was it shoulder, right? They got
I think it's in
Devontae
the back.
Adams. Is it back?
Yeah.
Okay. They got Devontae Adams. That's a big pickup. I still think he can play. I know he's north of 30, but I still think he's got a lot left in the tank. I still think he's probably 90% of what he was in his prime. Especially if Stafford's healthy. I think that's really the big concern. Even though they lost Cooper Cup, they have adequately replaced him with Puka Nacua over the last couple of years. So, really not much to do there. I think their defense is okay. I think it's good enough to win them games for sure. I don't know, man. I think the Rams are going to be it's really on, like I said, on Stafford's health. I'm going to bet though that he stays healthy for most of the year though. for most of the year. I think he's gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if he misses a game here and there just because of maybe some soreness or something. But age
I
too.
don't
Age
know.
is not. Age isn't a. It doesn't help his case either because once you get older, you start
Any,
getting these little stupid injuries.
any
I
anytime
think
they're
I'm
talking
gonna
about
say
giving him an
I'll say
epidural, I'm
I'll
getting
say they
concerned.
get in the playoffs solidly. I'll say they do win the division. I'll say they get 11 wins. Um, I don't know how I feel about much past that, but I
I
do think they get 11 wins.
Are you taking into consideration maybe they missed Stafford even for a few games this year just because of injury, maybe?
Yeah, I know what you're saying about the injury, but
You
I
still
I
think
I still think they're going to be okay. I do. I
I'm
don't
de-
think they're going to be. I don't think they're going to do as well in the playoffs though this year as they did
okay.
last year. Because I
I'm
think after that long season, I don't know if he's gonna hold up by then. I think yeah.
That's my thing where I don't think like seeing Stafford make it. If we knew we were having a healthy Matt Stafford with Adams, kind of with that defense, I think at that point you're looking at like probably on par with just like the 49ers because I would probably say that.
Yeah, they're around the same ballpark. They're not much different.
If I'm putting Jimmy Garoppolo in, I think I'm just counting those as losses. So if I'm saying even if it's just a couple games, I don't think he has it anymore. I don't think Sean McVay could be a quarterback whisperer to get that out of him. I don't think you can kind of like manage Jimmy Garoppolo at this point. He's in Hollywood for a reason. I don't think it's for the Rams at this point. I think we
I think
just
it's for
have
the porn stars.
that's it right there. It's like that he has a certain taste in women and they're there in LA. So he's gonna be Sean yeah. He
Jimmy Garoppolo is actually my hero.
but it's like no, I'm docking them down, and that's where I think they're probably maybe 9 wins at best because I'm just expecting Stafford to not be there, and even when he is there, is he gonna be 100%? I don't know, so I'm not gonna like really
I
bet
am
on it.
glad selfishly the Giants didn't try to get him though, because then they would have had to give him a contract. No, I'm glad
Yeah,
that that didn't work out.
he's
What
he's done at this point, and this the farewell tour for Stafford too.
what do you think, Calvin? What do you think about the Rams?
Uh, it's just tough because you expect everybody to be, well, everybody expects for him to be, Tom Brady. They expect quarterbacks to have Tom Brady. Nobody, not everybody has that. So
Well, that's what I say
I
about
still think
Rodgers,
that.
but yeah,
Okay, well, Rodgers is 40 though. Stafford's, I think he's 37 or 38. But the point still remains. If he's there, I could see them winning 11, maybe 12 games because they're strong on both sides. I really like Jared Verse and Brandon on the defensive line. They did a great job replacing. Not even you can never. They did a great job line and then defense in general. And then the offense, I like it. All three or all two receivers, both those receivers offer different things. I wish that they would have been able to find a way to keep Cooper Kupp around. But I also like Kyron Williams in the backfield. So it just depends. They're one of those teams that I can't get a full gauge on just because I don't know about Stafford's health. But if he's healthy, I could see winning 10 or 11 games. And if he's not, probably, it could be a disaster. But maybe seven. Maybe seven. I'll go 7 or 8
7.
if
Okay.
Stafford's not healthy the full season.
Well, if he's not healthy most of the year, then yeah, that's probably what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
even
I
if he
agree.
has to sit out like a month or something, I think that like Steven said, I don't know. I don't think Garoppolo could carry it that far.
So who do we have winning this division? You guys have what? The Niners?
San Francisco, yeah.
I have the Rams. You
Mm,
have the Niners, Cal?
yeah, yeah, probably. But if I was giving a hot take, I would say the Cardinals. Well, I'm not going to say that. I'm
Whoa,
not. I'm not.
okay. Okay.
But I'm just saying, if if things, Kyler plays up to his ability just for the one season, how every quarterback they have one. Sometimes they'll have
Yeah, but I could
one
argue he
season
already
where
had that
everything
in that
hits.
2021 season or whatever it was.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I'll go with the 49ers.
All right, so now we go north, NFC North. So this team, let's start with this team because this one's a real interesting team to me. I actually this might to me honestly, this is the most interesting team in the entire league because I don't know what to expect. And that's the Chicago Bears. Like Caleb starts with Caleb Williams, right? Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson, how that new marriage is going to be because I don't know. Like this could go a lot of different ways. I mean, Jared Goff is such a different quarterback than Caleb Williams, so it's definitely somebody not. He's Ben Johnson's not used to coaching. Jared Goff is obviously not as mobile. He doesn't like make these like wild plays like that. He's very structured. So does he cater more to Caleb, or does he say no? This is my system, and you got to kind of you know stick to this more structured offense.
I think a good
I,
offensive guru knows how to tweak their system to
Yeah,
the
a happy
strengths of
medium,
that.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like they've really done to the Bears front office credit, was it Ryan Poles, right? Shout out to him because they've really surrounded him with all the weapons they could ask for last year with Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, now Dunze, Luther Burden, uh the tight end they drafted was it Colston Loveland.
Posting Loveland.
They've drafted and they really have gave him everybody on the offensive side in terms of weapons, that you can give to a rookie quarterback like that. Now, obviously the problem last year was the offensive line, and they've tried to address that this year. I think it's going to be better offensive line for sure. What I'm looking for though is their run game because their run game was I think was second to last year. Um, and I don't know how much better. I mean, maybe the line will make it a little bit better, but DeAndre Swift, I do like Kyle Monangai. I know you guys probably don't even know who that is, but undrafted running back out of Rutgers. I really think he's going to be a good complementary piece. I think he's going to be one of the
I
steals
know
of the
who it
draft,
is. I think
personally.
you're just biased to New Jersey.
Of course. Of course I am. I don't hide it. I knew him way before you, though. I knew he was the Big Ten leading rusher for 2 years ago. So, no, he's going to be good. I just don't know. I just think it could be anything. I could see that this team, like if everything hit right, I could see this team, dare I say, winning the division if Caleb lived up to his potential. Why not? Why not? But I could also see this team totally imploding. Caleb shows more immaturity. Him and Ben Johnson just don't fit at all. And I could see them like winning like 6 games. And then the Bears fans will be like sick again, as Jaden Daniels wins the division again, and then Drake May is like another franchise quarterback. I could see either one of those scenarios, honestly. Um, I'm going to say though, this team is probably going to be. I mean, this is a tough division too.
You can throw it away.
So actually, I'm going to go back to me. I got to really think what they do wins wise. Let's go to Steven. What does he think?
I I think they're a high potential team, like you said, on
Yeah, they really
offense,
are.
but I don't think they're. I feel like I would be expecting too much for them to put it together this
Immediately.
season. Yeah, maybe if I start seeing like the signs like in the second half of the season, like, hey, the Bears are
Yeah,
getting
they
it
could.
together,
Right.
then I would probably be like, okay, next year they're going to be a problem. This year I'm kind of like, I kind of want to temper my expectations for Caleb because it's like, dare I say, I feel sorry for him a little bit. It's kind of like I know he didn't want to go to the Bears. I know he didn't want to end up with this ownership, this great fan base, one of the best, I think one of the best like fan bases, regardless of kind of like how the team performs. Chicago loves the Bears. So it's kind of like though,
I think
yeah.
that is the perfect place that he should have, could have ended up though, because the they're starving for somebody to actually be. If I know Mike likes to say Sid Luckman is the best quarterback in Bears history, but
He
in
is.
modern history, the
I
best
think it's a
quarterback,
fact.
We mentioned Sid Luckman more than any other podcast because of me.
But in the modern day, Jay Cutler is probably the best quarterback that they've ever
Jay is the best.
I'll throw Kyle Orton in there maybe, but he was better with the Broncos than he was with the Bears.
And Kyle Orton was just okay too. If
Yeah,
we're
he was
being
just
honest.
okay. So the expectations for you just have to be league minimum to be their best quarterback, and I think that Caleb just has to knock off the throwing temper tantrums after he missing the throwing drills or something like that. But I think that I know that you said you were concerned about the marriage with him and Ben Johnson because him and Jared Goff are such different quarterbacks. But I think
Yeah.
the thing with Caleb is that he could end up doing both. I think that he can win from the pocket, and I think that he can, win with his
He
feet from
can,
time
he
to time.
can. But then, are you taking away maybe some of his best attributes? You know what I mean?
No, I'm just saying that like Steven said, the best marriages between two is there needs to be a happy medium where you let
Right.
him do a couple of things, even if it's just a couple of times a game. You design something up for him, and then you let him, in the crunch time when he needs to take over, he can do that, but he needs to play within the system first couple of years to get his feet wet because they were shitting on his season last year, but even though he didn't have the best, he didn't look like the number one overall pick. His season wasn't awful.
It
He
wasn't.
didn't.
It wasn't awful
It
at
wasn't
all.
terrible at all.
No.
It just seemed like a standard. It wasn't an Andrew Luck rookie year or anything like
Or
that.
Jaden
But it also,
Daniels.
yeah, but it wasn't. It also wasn't. Peyton's first year where he threw 28 interceptions. Like there was he kept the ball out of harm's way better than most rookies tend to do. The problem is just Jaden Daniels came in so hot that it makes you look like a bust in contrast because he came in and took them to the NFC Championship game, and you didn't make the playoffs again.
But I remember me and Mike saying, like, we would have taken Daniels #1 anyway, I believe.
Yes.
I think, like,
Yep.
Williams had the potential, but, like, Daniels looked like he was, like,
I
ready
always thought
and
Daniels was a
kind
better
of, like,
player. That's who I wanted the Giants to take so bad, man. Over May,
because
over
you could
Caleb.
build around, like,
I knew it.
Daniels, like, almost, I feel like he's a more versatile player to build around versus Caleb. I I see where it's kind of like that, kind of like, okay, is this gonna work with like Johnson and Williams? Like it's kind of like, and it may take, I feel like people are gonna make up their mind after like the first like 4 or 5 weeks, and I don't think we're gonna see like the real like merging of them like
4 or 5 weeks. It's gonna be the first week. You know how NFL fans are.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, hey, we got to get rid of this bum, or we got to fire this guy. Yeah,
Right.
but no, yeah, Calvin, you brought up a good point where he really just has to surpass Jay Cutler, though. That's really
Yeah,
the bar.
you don't have to. You don't. I think that realistically, especially with the Bears have done everything right. The worst thing that happened was that that thing leaking where they were talking about he wanted to end up with the Vikings. That was the bad look on Caleb's part, and it was a shit because it was a bad referendum on the Bears as well because you were shitting on him. But he's there now, and I think that they've done a good job to surround him with a lot of talent. Luther Burden is somebody that if we didn't have Josh Downs, I would have loved him to end up with the Colts because I think he's going to be a good player. Rome Odunze, I think, is going to end up being a good player. I know he had a rough rookie season.
I'm glad you brought
Um,
him up. I was going to
Yes.
circle back to Roma Dunze because we were
yeah,
talking about the other wide receivers in that class,
Jalen
Thomas,
Polk.
Marv, Neighbors, but a lot of people forget it. Dunze was like he was thought to be in the first three, and above Brian Thomas, and he kind of underwhelmed a little bit, but I think a lot of that too is because of the why my his name escaped me. The guy from San Diego, now he's back there. Keenan Allen. Because if Keenan Allen was there, he took a lot of the targets that Rome would have got. And I think Rome's going to be, well, maybe I'm giving away something in fantasy here, but I think Rome's going to be good this year. I do.
yeah,
I love
they
them
had
going
that,
back to
and
Washington. Go ahead.
I think that it's just going to be. I know somebody said that they were concerned about the running game. I don't think that the Bears are going to be too concerned about it. I think they're going to be airing it out a lot. Um, Obviously, you have to run the ball a little bit to keep them honest, but
I don't think that's
um,
winning football though for that division. I just
mm,
don't,
In that cold
honestly.
it's
division, yeah,
it's tough.
I
But
agree.
I'm not. I'm not trying. DeAndre Swift isn't going to be the bell cow back, and I know you mentioned the guy from
Kyle
Lexington.
Manungai, baby,
Yeah,
let's go.
he might, he might turn out to be something, but he's still a seventh round pick. And then DeAndre Swift is a 5'9", 5'9". He's shifty, but he's getting older now too. He's been in the league maybe 6 years, so um, they're not gonna have a bell cut back there or anything. So I think they're gonna throw the ball a lot this year. I think Caleb will definitely throw for his 4,000 yards that nobody's ever thrown for in Bears history.
Yeah.
I think he'll get there this year. I don't know how many
That's
touchdowns
so
I think he's
wild,
gonna.
man. Nobody's thrown for 4,000 in Bears history. Like,
Yeah, I think that he's gonna get there. The Bears are but it's like everybody's saying. I don't know where to put them. I don't know if they're going to be good. I don't know if they're going to be bad. But like Steven said, I think that if you show, I think that it's more on the side of they're going to end up showing a lot of promise this year and not actually fulfilling it. And then next year you're going to be like, okay, this is the year that they'll break out.
so I'll so let me go with the win total first. So I may be a little biased with this because in my dynasty fantasy league, I have like four of these Bears offensive players in it. So I want them to do good in the worst way. So I'm gonna say like 10 wins.
Oh,
Hmm.
10
10
wins. Yes.
double digits?
Yep.
Oh,
I'm gonna say it worked out more positively. And
wow.
I think Steven's right. I think they'll be better more towards the end than the beginning. They'll be kind of mid in the beginning. You know, Caleb will have one of those games and he'll pout a little bit. But I think as October comes and get late to Halloween, I think they get better and better as the year goes on. Yeah, I'm gonna be optimistic. I'm not gonna be the negative guy I used to be. What do you think, Calvin? How many wins if you had to call it?
Uh,
I
I'm
know it's
probably going to end
tough.
up. I'm probably going to end up going just somewhere in the middle. So I'm going to just say 8 because I don't know. Um, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I think that 8 wins is a positive, a step in the positive, in a good direction for them, as long as Caleb Williams is showing progress throughout the season. Like if they win 8 games, but he throws for 3,500 yards and 19 touchdowns and 11 picks, I would be concerned as a Bears fan. But if they win 8 games and he's 4,200, um, 33 and 11, I would feel a little bit better. So I just want to see him, play a little bit better. Make not so much make better decisions because, like I said, I didn't really feel like he had turnover issues. But I also don't want to see him get hit as much as he did last year because he got beat up last year.
Yeah.
Mm,
I think
that he did.
7 wins is probably where I'll go. If I'm being honest,
Okay, it's
yeah.
wild. Like if you told me they had like 5 wins, I would believe it too. Like I would believe like it just there's nothing that would surprise me about this Bears team. Like I said, I think it's the most fascinating team in the whole league. Actually, again, I do have a personal stake in it too. So, let's go to the Lions. Let's go because they're an interesting team too.
Yeah.
Because we know 2 years ago they should have won that damn NFC title game. Um,
They should
last
have won the
year
Super Bowl. That was like their like
that you
That
know
was
what
their
that
that
would
would have
have
been
been
such a good Super Bowl, man. And
oh
and you know I
man.
like the Chiefs, but that would have been a great story.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. Whoever would have won, Lions versus Chiefs would have been such a dope Super Bowl.
I
It
think
would
Maybe
that's
not
we'll
what
get it
matter
this
everyone
year,
wanted.
whoever would have won. The Lions should have won if they got
and
there.
I would have been happy with that. Honestly, that would have been a great story, wouldn't it? A bit better story than the fucking Eagles winning last year. Sorry, mate, Eagles. Sorry, I don't care. Um, where was I? Lions. So Lions, correct me if I'm wrong, lost both their coordinators, right? So that's already a big thing. Went to the Jets and to the Bears. Uh, Teams that lose their coordinators, a lot of people discount that. I feel like they just overlook that, and usually the teams that do take a step back. Um, and like I said, it's a very tough division with other teams like the Packers and the Bears who may be on the rise, and then the Vikings. Who knows? They're a wild card with McCarthy in his first year. But I think the Lions, like I think Goff, I think he still plays well. Um, I think I still like their duo of running backs, Montgomery and Gibbs. Wide receiver, of course, still good. Tight end, Laporta, good. I still think they're going to be a good team, man. I really do. I know the gut reaction is like whenever I see the coordinators that leave, they do take a step back. But I don't know. I don't see this. Like I said, I love the head coach. I think he's going to be good again. Like he's been good these last couple of years for that. He's perfect for that city too. Maybe I just want to see Detroit win because like Detroit is just the city in general and the sports town in general has just never seen anything good in their lifetime. So to see them win would be so dope.
And they saw the Tigers go to the World Series one time.
And they lost, thankfully.
No,
But
that was a bad World Series too. Yeah,
yeah,
but
yeah, that
we could get
was.
into that
They went
another
twice,
day.
right? No, they went twice actually, and
Did they
lost.
lose both times to
They
the
lost both
Cardinals?
times. No, they lost. No, they lost to the Giants the second time.
Giants. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then
I
didn't
would have
they?
dragged them if they. Okay, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just want to see the Detroit win something. You know. I still no. I still think they're going to be a good team. What do you think, Calvin?
I, I'm a little bit like I know I'm on the opposite side. I'm not too concerned with them
The
losing both their
defense.
coordinator. I'm not too concerned with them losing both their coordinators. I think that they have one of the most talented rosters,
Yeah, they
in
do.
football. So,
Aiden
And
Hutchinson's going to be healthy again.
they replaced
yeah,
Ben Johnson with like the passing game coordinator from the Broncos. If he did that with Bo Nix, I'm sure he could work with Jared Goff. I'm not too worried right
yeah.
now.
So I'm not I think that they're going to win the division, and I think they'll probably end up winning 12 or 13 games. If I had to guess,
Hmm.
that's
Okay.
my high end. Just because the offense is going to be so good. They got Williams, Saint Brown, Laporta, Gibbs. They got Penny Sewell on the line, and then they're still going to. I hope that they find somebody outside of Hutchinson to get after the quarterback, and I really wish that they would have traded. They would have found. I know Miles Garrett, said he wanted out, and I wish in some alternate universe that they would have found a way to get him to pair him on the outside of Hutchinson because that would have been one of the most ferocious, pass
Oh,
rushers
oh
of
my
all time.
God. They would have jumped to number one in the NFC easily. Easily.
Absolutely. And I would have done
Number one with the
whatever.
bullet.
Yeah, because you hit on so many, of your draft picks. You got Branch back there who's playing excellent. I know they lost Rakestraw, one of their corners. But Terrion Arnold, hopefully he picks it up this season. Kirby Joseph is a great safety. Um, but if they would have found a way to get Miles on the outside of that, I think that they would be the Super Bowl favorites. But even still,
Oh, 100%.
I'm pretty sure they're going to end up winning the division. If I had to pick somebody that I thought was going to win the division, it would be them for sure. So I'll say on the high end, I'll give them 13. On the low end, I'll give them 10 or 11.
I'll say 12. I'll say 12.
Okay.
What do you think, Steven?
I have them at 11 wins, and I think that that's good enough for them to win the division, but the pack, they're right behind. I think it's going to be really close. I do think that there's going to be maybe just like a decline in the offense, but it's not a concerning decline. It's enough to where it's like, hey, listen, you still have enough. Sometimes you're just more talented than other people, you know? Like on offense, it's kind of like I think that's where you look at St. Brown, where it's kind of like that's you can't get a better receiver right now, like for Jared Goff, and then you have that run game with Gibbs. I think, yeah, I think that this is just going to be a pretty standard, just like win 11 games. They may actually perform better with less, like without being like the number one seed in the NFC, kind of like take some of that pressure off. And I think that may actually do them a little bit better when it comes playoff time. But yeah, we'll see.
Before we
So
get
let
to the next, before we get to the next team, I just wanted to say this. Um, there's a quarterback in high school named Wonderful. Hold on, wait, let me read this guy. Wonderful, terrific Mons the fourth, and I think that that's fucking nuts. And every day, Key and Peele are proved right with that skit that they did
Wonder. Sorry, say
because
it
this shit
again.
is
Wonder. Say it
wonderful,
again.
terrific Mons the fourth or the fifth. Yeah, the fourth. Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Hmm.
Um,
We
if
we know
I'm being honest.
we forgot to do that segment in the summer. We should still do that one of these days. The craziest names.
I think. Well, I'll save it for
There's a
later.
college guy with that's the number one spot with that.
Yeah, but yeah.
And why isn't he? Why isn't he? And I'm not saying that one. Why isn't he? Why isn't he in that NCAA game?
Are you talking about? Oh, no,
Noah.
you're not.
Noah.
I
No,
thought you were
he
talking about
is.
the.
No, I think
I
they
thought
added.
yeah, they just put him. They just put him in
Oh, they
there.
did.
Yeah.
How do you say that? Is it really that? That's how you really say it?
Yeah, no nigga.
It's Kaniga.
I'm
Yeah,
not even saying
it's
that.
no
I don't
nigga,
even feel
and you know
comfortable
what?
saying.
No, and what kind of like it was gonna be my merch. No, my roast, but I could do another one because I think you guys said you guys are both doing roast anyway, so I'll switch it up. No,
Yeah.
just going on real quick about like Noah Nigga because it's like he's already
It's
selling
Kaniga.
merch.
Stop doing that.
Do you know? You know?
You
You
gonna
know
tell why
one?
you gonna fuck it
And
up and why people gonna get beat up.
and then well yeah, I wish he would be in like Ypsilanti being like Noah Nigga, and it's kind of like, oh no, that'll get shut down real quick. But no, really, it's I have a problem with like already selling merch like straight off, haven't played anything.
His parents knew what they were doing.
Yeah, but are they getting a cut of this or is it just him? Because
But wait.
they should get a cut.
How his parents have the same last name as him?
But they're not
The
Noah.
messed up part.
Unless they have something crazy too. I don't know.
Yeah, but what the Noah part's not the crazy part. The nigga is.
Yeah, but the Noah makes it even more like complete.
The Noah is very intense.
Even if his last name was Ian nigga, it would be.
Yeah, but Noah makes it, even more something.
Yeah. It's funny though.
But him selling
and
merch
you know what though? They could have
bad,
changed their name. They could have said, well, or change the pronunciation.
That's what Kelvin was trying to say, but I don't believe it. We all know what it. We know
they said Kaniga, but I just hope that he doesn't make it to the NFL because not to shit on his dream thing, but we don't need that kind of negativity spotlighted like this.
But he's selling hats and stuff like that, $50 a hat. And I think it's like
is he any good, by the way, this guy?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying, though. He's already selling nigga merch, and I think he partnered with a company
nigga merch
called
is crazy.
he partnered with like I think it's like Hood something, so it's like Hood,
no, but look at them. Look at them profiting. I'm not to grandstand or anything, but they're profiting off black culture once again, and it's disgusting.
They just want him to make the NFL, so then when they do the international series and they go to Paris,
just so Robert Goodell could be the one to call his name. I
think they want somebody to lose their job. Somebody's going to lose their job too.
I know Roger. Hopefully, Roger's not calling it because if Roger's calling his name, that means he got drafted in the first round. I don't know if that's going to happen because I think he's going to like Eastern. Wherever he went to school, I don't fucking know,
Eastern Michigan. Yeah,
Eastern Michigan. So I don't know if that's going to be the case, but hopefully he doesn't end up. If Roger Goodell got to call that name, it's going to be his last. That's going to be his last go around.
Well, even then, we have Mel Kiper who's going to have to be doing analysis on like, just look at how nigga hits the hole and just kind of like.
And somebody's going to slip up and use the hard.
That's what I'm saying. Somebody's going to lose their job.
They're going to be like, they're going to be like, then Noah, and they're gonna that like they be doing at them fucking baseball broadcasts, and they'd be like, oh.
He is going to end up with a black girlfriend in Eastern Michigan, though, so I am happy. So we should segue.
It's gonna be that, or they're gonna find a fucking white hood in his closet. One of the two. There's no in between.
So very weird transition. Let's go to the Packers here. I know, Steven, you mentioned the Packers as maybe being a threat.
Yeah.
Jordan Love. Jordan Love's an interesting case because I thought he was trending up, and some people said, "Oh, they were disappointed last year that he didn't do as well as they thought." I don't think he's like an elite quarterback, but I mean, I still think he's solid. You know what I don't know about though is their wide receiver core. Because I don't think they have the guy. I mean, they have like a lot of like decent guys, but they don't have the guy. I know they drafted the guy from Texas. Was it Matthew Golden, right? So they think he could be the guy, but I don't know. I'm not a big Golden guy. I mean, I looked, I did a lot of research on. No, I'm definitely not Golden Shower guys. That's what you just said. Yeah, no.
You and Young
no Golden Showers for me. Yeah. but no, I was, I did a lot of
Diddy.
research on him, for the
Oh my
pre-dynasty
God, I'm
rookie
sorry.
draft there. Um, and was not a golden guy. And as now I can't even speak. You know what, Calvin, you just go because you distracted
No,
me.
go ahead. My
You go, no,
bad.
you go, you go, you go.
Shit.
The
No,
point
all
is,
good.
I don't know the receiving core. I don't know how good it's going to be. I don't know about their offensive line. The defense is going to be more than solid. Um, I don't think they're better than Detroit. I don't think I don't know if they'll be better than Chicago if Chicago meets my standard. Because what did I say, 11 wins for Chicago? I think they probably end up the same. I probably say and the Packers too have a harder schedule this year. Again, can't base everything off a schedule, but
Mhm.
I'm thinking 10, 11 in that range. Because the quarterback is good enough and their defense is good. The running back with Josh Jacobs is good too. But again, I don't like that offensive line that they got there. Um, yeah, I'm gonna say 10. Actually, I'm gonna say they're under the Bears. That's a big hot take there, but under the Bears. What do you say, Cal?
Uh, they they were right there to beat San Francisco, and they a couple years ago, and they dropped the ball on that. Um, they had him dead to rights, and that's when I thought after that season, I thought that Jordan Love was going to keep ascending, like you
Right,
said,
right,
and it
exactly.
felt like a down year. I think that he dealt with some injuries last year too. Um, they have a bunch of twos and threes at wideout, and they don't have a
Yeah.
dominant one. Um, so it'll be interesting. I do like their
Are you a
I
golden
do like
guy? Are you a golden guy?
no no PP showers for me. But
No.
yeah, no, absolutely not. No Diddy. But um I just think I like their wide receivers, and if Golden hits, then that'll give them, it'll be a very well-rounded wide receiver core.
Yeah.
But eventually they're gonna need to get a one. I hate that Devontae got out of there, but obviously he wanted to leave when Aaron left. He wasn't trying to be there for a rebuild, but it feels like they should have been on the phone hot to try and get DK too. I don't know if they what ended up falling through there
DK
um
didn't want to be like it.
in Green Bay.
Yeah, he wouldn't have wanted to be there,
Yeah,
regardless of Love being the quarterback, I think.
yeah, but I think it's hard for me to put a placement on them because they're gonna go. Me in my eyes, they're gonna go as far as Jordan takes them, and I could I could see 9 wins. I could see 10 wins. I can't really see too much more than that. So maybe I'll go 9. I'll go 9 and play it safe because I don't think they're gonna be. I don't think Jordan Love is like a terrible quarterback unless he gets hurt this season. Um, I think that they should be around 9 or 10.
Yeah. Yeah, I think 10 wins is kind of like the I could see him at 10, 11. So it's kind of like I could see them literally. I don't think the Lions have too much room to breathe right now. I think it's kind of like they need to kind of like take Green Bay seriously and kind of like, and if you had to play him a third time, you wanted to be at home. So it's I think I think Love's set up to have a pretty good year right now. Probably have his like what 35 and maybe 15 or 35 or 33 and 15, something around that. Like it wouldn't shock me if that was kind of like if he plays the whole year, that's just um how he finishes the season. I think he has the potential to really still be a really great quarterback for the Packers. And I think this season is it's more open than not for them to kind of like overtake Detroit, but Love staying healthy, playing the whole season is going to be a part of it. If he doesn't, then is it Malik Willis, their backup? Uh, they'd have to lean on Jacobs even more, probably. They could end up dropping at that point, but overall, it's like I really think that I think Green Bay is pretty good overall, and I think dare I say, kind of like they don't need like I'm gonna go back to your point, Calvin, when you talked about kind of like do you need all these weapons to be like a really good quarterback? If you could just play within the system and do what you're supposed to do, I think that's what Jordan Love should be able to do and kind of like elevate some of these guys. He should be able to do that. And if that's a fair expectation for him too, especially coming after Rodgers. It's kind of like because I don't think Rodgers always had. He was still in a Mercedes Lewis. Like I'm sorry,
Is he
but
still in the league, by the way, this year? I hope he is.
I think that he's a free agent right now, but
Oh, come on. Somebody sign him.
they keep him around because he's a great blocker.
But I
And
like that he's in the league because he still makes me feel good because
he's been in the league
oh
since
six.
Madden 2005 came out.
that's
Yeah.
crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like I
2006
remember
season.
if I go plug in Madden '05 right now and I start a superstar mode, you're gonna see him get picked.
Yep.
That's crazy that he's still playing
I
or that he still
remember,
wants to play.
let me put it this way. I remember, there was a time for you kids listening out there, that you didn't have the draft classes that, the college names, they had nothing. It was quarterback number 8, running back number
Mhm.
25. So you had to like manually enter all these names. I remember having to like enter, Mercedes Lewis when he was in college and everything like that, just so I can put him in the draft class, for the export him to Madden. So yeah, man, I hope you get signed. So we ready for the final team in the division?
Yeah, yeah. The
All
Portland
right,
Trailblazers.
Vikings. JJ Midcarthy, as I jokingly called him.
We
No,
gonna
I'm
have Trey
kidding. I'm
on here
kidding. I'm
eventually.
kidding. I'm kidding. I know he hated when I said that. Midcarthy. Yeah, actually, he would have been a good guest today because he's Michigan guy and obviously a
Lions,
Lions
yeah.
fan. He would have been perfect for this pod today. Um, no, but McCarthy. I know it was interesting that they had interest in Rodgers, right? That was a little interesting to me, right? Because I mean, if they really were that confident on maybe it's just because they weren't confident at his
Or was it
injury.
the other way around? I think Rodgers
Yeah, I
had
don't
interest in
remember. That's
him
why I kind of threw that.
because
Did they have interest in Rodgers, or did Rodgers have interest in them?
I don't remember if it was after Darnold already signed, and then it was like Rodgers was kind of like, yeah, like Minnesota, like, are you gonna give
Yeah,
me an offer? And they, I think they made the right move. I think so. But
but McCarthy, now Addison's going to be out, right? The first 4 weeks. Did I see that?
First, why is Addison out, but Rasheed Rice is not? Just throwing that out there.
Here we go. Tinfoil hat with the
It's
Chiefs
not even
again.
a tinfoil, bro. It's like he almost killed somebody. Okay, both are wrong, and both should be suspended already. Why is one not suspended and one the other is? It doesn't make any sense.
No, it is a good question. It is ratings. But anyway, I think obviously with when Addison comes back, Justin Jefferson, that's a dynamic 1-2 punch. They really had no interest in bringing Darnold back. So I mean, I think there was a lot of people up into that playoff game. I saw a lot of people pushing for like, oh, you got it. They should bring Darnold back, and I'm like, what? That's like Daniel Jones all over again, or maybe he's a little bit better than Daniel, but I mean that I don't see that at all. You got to go with the guy you drafted in the first round and the higher potential in McCarthy because
He just played so shitty that game.
he cost himself a lot. I know, like it's crazy how all of it went to shit just in one game.
Just
He's
immediately.
actually he did the opposite of what Daniel Jones did because Daniel Jones that one game against the Vikings gave him like it made him rich just that one game against the Vikings. But I don't know what to think about this team. Um, I still probably I think he's coming off that injury. I think he's going to have a lot to learn. I think they're going to be in last place. I do just because of that. Uh, yeah, I'm going to say for the Vikings only because I need teams here with losses. I'm going to say like 6 wins. They're not going to be like awful, but they're not going to be good. Could surprise me though. Maybe McCarthy learns a little quicker than everybody thinks. But what do you think, Cal? What do you think about the Vikings?
I mean, somebody has to finish last in the division,
Right,
and I
right.
think this it's not
And
really
somebody I need
fault
to
of their
give
own.
people losses. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I think Kevin O'Connell is such a good coach, and another person that makes me feel old because he was drafted in Madden 2008 out of San Diego State, whatever. But just I feel like he's such a good coach that they're not going to have a disastrous, like three win season or
No, I
four
don't
win
see
season
that.
or
Yeah.
something like that. But it's just somebody has to come in last in the division, and they're the odd man out. So I could see maybe 5 or 6. I think that if JJ just goes in there and he gives you the same production, that same there, I don't think that there's any chance that they're going to win 14 games. But I think that they could surprise and end up winning 11 or something, even with a rookie quarterback, because O'Connell is that good of a coach. But you kind of just have to see it. So I'll give him 5 or 6 wins, but it's not through any real fault of their own or any nefarious thoughts. It's just somebody has to be last in the division.
What about you, Steven?
Yeah, I'm still kind of high on JJ. I don't think that but this is his rookie season. Like I think we have to keep that in mind. And it's kind of like I don't really expect him to come in and be no, I don't expect him to come in and be Sam Darnold, and heck, he may be more rookie Sam Darnold than actual like Sam Darnold of last year. It's like it's
Hopefully without the ghosts.
yeah, it's yeah, because it's like he has a lot of the tools that like I think you would like to see in like just drafting a quarterback and kind of like developing them and kind of like actually molding the quarterback the right way. I feel like sometimes you just draft quarterbacks and it's like play them, throw them out there. Like let's just see what happens. I think JJ is somebody where it's kind of like this being his real rookie year, and it's kind of like my expectations for the Vikings aren't really that high. I still actually like TJ Hawkinson at tight end though. For I think him and JJ, just in my mind, it's like, oh, okay, like that's gonna be a pretty good pair right there. But aside from that, it's kind of like, um, yeah, it's gonna be a last place team, and that's okay for this year. I don't think it's going to be like one of those embarrassing last place teams, though. I think it's just going to be like all right, they're in
Yeah.
a
That's
cycle
what I
right
think we're
now.
all pretty much in agreement. They're going to be like one of those respectable head teams, if that makes sense. They're not going to be top five pick, I don't think.
Every week, you still need to take them seriously because it's not like they're the Saints.
Well,
Okay.
any team with Justin Jefferson too. I mean, get it
Yes.
to that guy. I mean, anything could happen. So okay, that wraps. I think we're all in agreement then, right? Lions for this division.
Uh,
I got him.
You,
yeah, I have the Lions and Packers really right there.
okay,
But
you
yeah,
like the
I
Packers
do.
more than we do, I think,
Yeah, I do.
and I like the Bears more than
Honestly,
you two do.
honestly, no, I'll flip it. And I kind of, since I both have them at like 10, 11 wins, I'll actually go with the Packers probably winning the division this year.
Oh,
I think
okay,
that'll probably be like a decent surprise, but I think that may actually benefit the Lions still as a playoff team. So, as a wild card playoff team. So, yeah.
okay. All
Mhm.
right. So now we finished all the divisions. Next week we will be doing the what is it? The last division, which will be the AFC North, and then we'll have the full NFL projections for y'all. We're gonna have the Super Bowl picks. We should actually write down all our like our records like for each team. Maybe we're not gonna say it on air, but we should just have it just for the record. All right, toast to roast time. Let's go with Calvin. I know he has something.
I I already roasted them. I'm not
Do it.
finna double
Do it
down.
again.
Just fuck the Indianapolis Colts coaching staff, not the team, but fuck Chris Ballard, fuck Shane Steichen. Um, you're ruining everything that I love ever in life. Um, the Colts are one of the things that brought me the most happiness in my life, and to just see them, being the decision making behind it has been awful. There's no logic being used at all. Just let the young kid go out there. If he fails, and that's it. And we can all see that he failed. But if you trade him somewhere else, like Steven said, and he goes to the Seahawks or something, and then they develop him, and he turns into fucking Black Josh Allen, I'm gonna be disgusted unless we end up with Arch Manning. I don't even care if they bust for Ness or whatever. But I just want good decision making. But like I said, I'm tired of Ballard. I'm tired of fucking trading back in the first round. I'm tired of picking 23rd overall every fucking year. So here's to a shitty season. In a way, I'm kind of relieved because my Sundays are going to be free for the most part because
Yes. See?
my Sunday,
Now you know how I felt the past 5 years.
I'm
See?
gonna still, I'm still gonna
See?
watch games,
College
but
football on Saturday then becomes more exciting than the NFL games on
yes,
Sunday. That's wild.
because you put the most boring, you put the, it's not even laughably bad. Like it's not like
Boring as fuck, bro.
If Jameis Winston went out there and he threw 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions, I would be you're on the edge of your seat either way. And there's some kind of like there's something when your team is losing and you're so frustrated, but you're like, because we could be so much better than this, I don't ever want to be indifferent about my team. Like some years I'm like, oh, I know we're gonna suck. And then some years I'm like, oh, we might be good. When Peyton was there, I was like, we're gonna end up being, we're gonna be great. We're gonna have a chance to compete. Being in the middle is not fun. And I think Daniel is gonna have us lower middle, and we're damned if we're doing, we're damned if we don't. Because I do not want Daniel Jones the worst case scenario is Daniel goes in there and again wins 9 games somehow.
No, no,
And
no, no, no.
suddenly,
The worst is if he wins 11 games. That's the worst.
okay, yeah. If he wins 10 and you don't have to cut your hair, but he makes us pick 26th in the draft, I'm gonna be pissed off. I would rather let's just suck, just blow it
He's
all
your
up.
future quarterback at that point.
Yeah, now he's your future
Yeah,
coach. Actually, that's worse for
what they're gonna think.
everybody. 11 wins because you got to sign him up for.
Yeah, but the thing is, if they get to 9 wins, Ballard might save his job, and we can't have that. So it just we just need to win 5 games this year, four or five, and
See, now you're in the same boat I'm in for the last
I'd
5 6 years.
be
That's why I'm so hyped this year with Jameis and Russ and with the kid Dart. I mean, like it's so exciting to finally be in just something different, something that vanilla ass Daniel Jones for 5 6 years. You go next, Steven, because I don't even know what my toaster roast is going to be.
Okay, well, just the toast is Paige Buckers, her 44
Beckers,
Buckers, buckets. It's like no,
Dick
like
Butkus.
yeah, but yeah, definitely. Shout out to her. Like most points by a rookie in a WNBA game, and then Sophie Cunningham out for the season's actually I think that's a pretty big blow for the Fever because it's kind of like they were still hoping to be kind of like a playoff contender type team, and it's kind of like it's looking like not this year. And we're about to start the narrative for Caitlin Clark. Here we go. Can she win it? Is she a winner? So I could already start seeing.
I mean, she was
where it's
injured
gonna
this
go.
year.
Yeah, but still, it's just like Jordan. It's kind of like, hey, can he win? Is he going to be able to win in the league? I see where it's going to go. This is this discord that's going on online. I already see the direction of a certain fan group's side.
I'm so glad I have a
going at
life
it.
now and I'm not on Twitter. One of the best
then-
decisions I made.
And then I see where it's kind of like but no, I still want to give like Paige her props because like that's kind of like that's him like scoring about like half your team's points as a rookie. Like that says a lot. Like she's at this point.
And they still lost that game. Kelsey Plum with that late bucket,
Yes.
bucket at the end.
Sexist. Don't say anything sexist.
So it's
what was half the points? 14. All right, I'm sorry. I'm just kidding.
Hey, bro. I want to call. Wait, I want to say something. Remember you said I was thinking of you when I went to that Liberty game earlier in July.
Don't think of me nowhere they throwing dildos.
Where they said, that's true. That's true. A lot of dildo action going on there. But no, they had. You said, there's 5 people in the stands, and there was 15,000 people in those stands, and no Caitlin Clark in sight. What do you got to say about that?
I did not say 5 people.
Yeah, you did. I think you did.
I did not say that.
But the Liberty are also like the reigning champions, and another thing, if I'm still hoping the Connecticut Suns don't move to Boston and then the backup location's Houston. That would be really, really big Connecticut doesn't need a basketball team anyway, so it's yeah.
So my roast, I was gonna roast somebody else, but I'm not. I don't want to do that for reasons I'll say after the pod. But I'm just gonna roast. This is gonna be very Yankee local flavor to me. But just Aaron Boone. He's such a joke of a manager. I hate him. He's only the manager of this team because he hit a home run. By the way, they lost that World Series. They lost that World Series in '03. And by the way, they lost the World Series last year because of Aaron Boone and his bad decisions. So the guy is trash. The guy doesn't even know his own players. The guy said, Aaron Judge, he won't be able to throw right for the rest of the year. And then the next day they ask Judge, he says, I don't know why he said that. I'm pretty good. He hasn't seen me throw the past 2 weeks. I'm good now. And then the next day, Aaron Boone says, oh, well, yeah, I have to take that back a bit. I apologize. The guy's a clown, man. The guy's a clown. Get rid of him. Get rid of Cashman. The Cashman's the guy who needs to go. Yankee fans know that. Boone's really the puppet, but Boone, we'll have to settle for Boone now. Maybe Judge now, the superstar player having a falling out with him, maybe that'll finally get them to pull the plug on him, but it's bullshit, man. It's bullshit. This team I grew up with won every single year, and they haven't won since they've won once since I turned 10.
It's different when everybody's payroll, they're not the highest payroll team in, you can't buy championships anymore.
Yeah, but other teams do it without spending a lot of money.
You can, but you have to be in Los Angeles.
Yeah, so the Dodgers, and actually, yeah, you can, because the Dodgers are going to win again this year. So
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not betting on that. And I'm still sticking by me personally. I think the Cubs are still going to win the NL. And
I would root for the Yankees to miss the playoffs if I thought Boone was going to get fired, but they're going to run it back with him anyway. They just love Boone. So might as well just make it and lose in the first round again. Just a clown show organization.
The Brewers are the two best teams.
The Brewers are on fire. The Cubs, they hit a lull last month, but I think that they probably can end up bouncing back. But yeah.
And no, going to the World Series is not an accomplishment. No, absolutely not.
Is.
Last year was a joke. They only made it because that was like the weakest AL I've ever seen. I'm never impressed. I don't care. I'm not impressed. And no Yankee fans are impressed.
We could save it for another time, but I think also
we're not impressed.
I think you kind of like having your expectations being set for real, because it's kind of like I think the Yankees are still in a good spot this year, even as the wild card.
Okay. Card. You're not. Yeah, that's because you're not a Yankee fan. No, they're not a good shot for anything.
If the Cubs go to the World Series as the wild card, I'm not going to be like, oh, but see, they didn't win the division. The Brewers
but you know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen? They're going to lose if they even made it to the World Series as a wild card. They're going to lose just like they do all the time against good teams. They make stupid, dumbass errors on the base paths in the field, and it's been this way for years. And Aaron Boone has no discipline. They don't care about the fundamentals. That's why he needs to go. And that's why they lost the World Series last year. And that's why none of us Yankee fans are happy with them. So I'm glad I remembered this point. So I'm glad I got to roast Aaron Boone because, yeah, I'd roast Cashman, but there's no chance. He might as well be a fifth Steinbrenner sibling there. So there's no way he's going to go. But any other final words before we wrap this up?
Fuck Shane Steichen.
Oh, gosh. No, nothing at this point.
No?
Just shout out to the listeners. Yeah.
Yeah, keep those listen counts up. YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get them. And no Pornhub. No, we're not going on Pornhub.
I mean, if they offer us a contract, I'm not saying no to anybody, but we'll see. It's like, hold on.
You got to have some more somewhere. So that's how we're gonna fucking end up on. What's the Trump app? Rumble. I'm not trying to if Rumble came offer me a bag, I'm not fucking going on Rumble.
It depends how big the bag is. I don't know. Depends how big the bag is. But all right. We'll have closed door negotiations. If anybody wants to send their offers, they can still send them. All right. Until next time.
All right, y'all. We'll see you next week.